All right, so day one complete. I did 72 miles. I have 36 miles left. I charged to 90%. You can do the math on that. I went all over the place. I went to 1, 2, 3, 4 job sites, one meeting at a different house, and back to physical therapy, and then I went to the parts store, and then I drove home. So I spent over 3 hours in the van today. It's phenomenal. And all that cost me like $11. In my truck, that would have cost $60. So obviously electric is the future. There's a bunch of quirks and weird little things. The dealership gave me the wrong owner's manual, so I couldn't actually read the owner's manual before I drove it for the day. So I've had to figure out a lot of stuff. I haven't messed with putting it in low because that just seems to make it slow. This button removes creep mode and makes it so that once you come to a complete stop, the van will not move unless you hit the gas pedal, so you don't roll backwards and you don't creep forward. Apparently, if you pull the parking brake on and you have this on, even though the dash tells you to release the parking brake, as soon as you hit the gas, it releases the parking brake. And that is much more like driving an EV. My other car is a Model Y, and that more closely replicates that. None of the energy settings and different driving modes really make a difference other than like acceleration, which I'm not accelerating in a van because it's a van. Even like merging, if I can't just merge normally without having to haul some ass, I'm not merging anyway. So the drive modes don't matter. I just leave it in normal, and I just don't use max power because I don't usually floor it when I drive any car. I have about, I would say conservatively, 500 pounds of equipment in the back. Super impressed. I definitely was experiencing range anxiety when I bought the van, and I was worried that I might drive more than it would let me in a day, and today was an absolute marathon. All over 2 counties. Probably maybe an hour of that was highway without stop and go, so like actual 50, 60 miles an hour. No interstate, but like normal rural highway type stuff. It's legit. I know you always have that like honeymoon where you're like, oh, my new vehicle's the best thing ever. So I've been aware of that, and I try not to let my hopes get higher than reality. And my hopes were pretty low. I thought it would just save me a bunch of gas money and obviously be good for the planet and save me from having to stop at gas stations for 30-35 minutes to fill up my truck, because my truck has a 32-gallon tank. It takes forever to fill it up, and it always runs out of gas right when I'm going to be perfectly on time for a meeting, but then I have to stop and spend 20-30 minutes at the gas station depending on which pump I go to. So having this thing charged with more miles than I could ever use in a normal workday every day, it's going to save me at least 45 minutes a week. I fill up like 1.5 times a week on average in my truck. So it's going to save me at least 45 minutes a week not sitting at a gas station. It's going to make me able to not have to adjust my schedule so that I can get gas. I don't know what it just did. It just started blinking the parking brake, and it sounded like the parking brake was going to let loose. It was kind of terrifying. I actually put my foot on ready to push the brake if it was going to start rolling backwards. That was weird. Seemed to be good now. It's phenomenal. They need to make more of them faster, obviously, and to have 200 miles of range consistently would be a lot better, because like I live in, I don't know, rural area, so if I want to drive down to the city, it's like 120 miles one way. So I have to drive down there, find a charger that works, and then wait like an hour to go from, you know, if I ran it down to 0, it would take about an hour to get it back up to 100, which I would need to be able to get all the way back home without having to stop again. So lots of room for improvement, but so far super impressed.